It's a Friday right here on KBC Channel 1, and it's time to delve deeper into the big news of the day, and that is a Court of Appeal verdict on that appeal filed, trying to salvage the BBI process. Remember, the High Court had nullified that entire process, and now the Court of Appeal has agreed with the High Court. Now, to help us discuss this matter, I have three gentlemen, fine gentlemen, officers of the court. They're all advocates, and on my immediate left we do have Stanley Kinyanjui, an advocate of the High Court, on Twitter at Stan Kinyanjui.
Yes, that's correct.
Karibu sana. Next to Bwana Kinyanjui we do have Ochiel Dudley, and he's also an advocate of the High Court, and curiously he was appearing for Dr. Jack Mwimali, who was a respondent in the proceedings today before the 7-judge bench of the Court of Appeal. On Twitter he's at Ochiel JD. Karibu sana Bwana Ochiel.
Thank you.
And on my extreme left, Bwana Omayo Aranga, also an advocate of the High Court. On Twitter, Omayo_Aranga. Gentlemen, karibuni sana. Now, we're trying simply to break it down to the common wananchi, because it's been a very long day. For you officers of the court, you've been following word after word, pronouncement after pronouncement by the judges. And for us, the media, we've been covering the event the entire day, 11 hours non-stop. We cannot say it is unprecedented, but definitely one of those big days in Kenyan history. A few things do occur, and the major one is that according to the interpretation by many of the citizens, is that reggae has stopped. But has it? Let's start with you, Stanley.
Well, we can indeed say that reggae has stopped, because the substantive part of the appeal has been dismissed. You know, what is really going to go into the hearts and the minds of Kenyans is that BBI has stopped. Because without the substantive part of the BBI, that is after it has been ruled unconstitutional, then there's nothing much we can do about it. It has been dead. And what I can confidently say as at this moment is that the High Court killed BBI. And the Court of Appeal, I can likely put it as the government pathologists to just come and confirm to the people what really killed BBI.
Yet, according to our understanding, is that the Court of Appeal is not the final, has no final say. You could still go higher than the Court of Appeal, probably to the Supreme Court. And is that still a possibility?
Yes, I see some parties going to the Court of Appeal, which will
the Supreme Court? To
the Supreme Court, sorry, yes. Which will have the final say on this matter. But remember, Fred, we've had 12 judges so far, and a majority of them have already said that the BBI process is unlawful. So that there isn't likely to be any much difference in my own view of the matter. But
Bwana Ochiel, you've interacted with the senior counsels who are pushing this appeal process today, and was there any indication that any of them could actually pursue that route, go to the Supreme Court?
Well, I've heard some of them saying that they would love to take a look at the judgment. Remember, we'll get copies on Monday, and then talk to their clients, then they could decide what to do.
So there is a possibility?
Yeah. There's a possibility.
But do you think it makes any sense for anyone to move to the Supreme Court? 12 judges later, the High Court and the Court of Appeal, basically what would the argument be, if at all, anyone goes to the Supreme Court?
Well, Fred, my thinking is that the wisdom of having an appellate mechanism is to ensure that the same is exploited. Now, in as much as we have 12 judges who have made a determination on the same, there's every possibility of having, again, a majority. I want to be neutral, because I want us to have the appeal mechanism as an academic exercise. So whoever is aggrieved, and you could see clearly from the parties before the Court of Appeal, the appellants, some of them give indications, some of them, some of the political players, you could see the Right Honorable Raila Odinga indicate that for him, he has moved on. But for the rest of the players, they'll make individual decisions. And as my colleague has just indicated to you and our viewers, what is likely to happen is that by Monday, when we will have the certified copies of the judgments out, we're going to see the singular decisions by parties that were at the Court of Appeal. I want to insist that the making an appeal is, in my view, not academic for the reason that it is provided for. Insofar as we have now 12 judges ruling or delivering a judgment against the BBI, there is still, whoever is optimistic will want to go there and argue their case.
And with that optimism,
and that has happened before.
Yes.
We've had a scenario in which you can find a High Court thinking otherwise, the Court of Appeal thinking otherwise, and the Court of Appeal overturning the two.
So if at all probably the Court of Appeal had disagreed with the High Court, then probably the need for the Supreme Court to be drawn into this would be necessary. But even because you're talking about an academic issue, and I'm sure probably within legal circles, there are those who would want, probably for the sake of jurisprudence, just to see if what would the Supreme Court have to say about this. Would it be necessary now that the Court of Appeal has agreed with the High Court?
Well, if you are to look at the circumstances as they are right now, in my opinion, I think it would be a very fruitless venture to go to the Supreme Court, because like I said at the beginning, there's the substantive part that holds the BBI process together, and that is whether it was legal or not. And if you look at the majority of the judgment, it goes directly to the heart as to whether it was illegal or not. You see, the question that was really prime in this circumstance was whether the initiative as initiated by the steering committee was legal. And once that was held to be illegal, then that's a gone case.
And that's one of the big pronouncements today, the fact that the president cannot institute a popular initiative. Bwana Ochiel, where does that leave us now? Because probably we are still exercising our power within this constitution. We still do not know exactly where we can press, what we can poke here and there. We have learned today that the president cannot institute popular initiative. Some of these pronouncements, beyond even the BBI process, will be of importance going forward. What do you say to that?
I think you're right that we're yet to realize the full impact of this decision today. And on the point that you're speaking about, the court has affirmed Wanjiku's power by saying that Wanjiku's power is special, it's separate from those of elected representatives. And that's important also because of a point that the court made, that there are some kind of changes to the constitution which only Wanjiku can make. And if you remember the Bomas process, we had these assemblies at the district level, and then we also had delegates from all over the country meeting at Bomas. That's what we call a constituent assembly. So that to change some parts of the constitution, you have to go through that 4-stage process: a constituent assembly, referendum at the end, but also public participation and civic education. I think the court just puts Wanjiku at the center of this.
And that's probably one thing that Wanjiku did not even know, just how much power Wanjiku holds in this entire process, or in any process when it comes to amending the constitution. Let's continue sampling some of the views from our viewers across the country. Timothy Kipnusu, my colleague, is in Nakuru. Timothy, what do the people of Nakuru say about the happenings today?
Very good evening.